If the feds listening, let them know they ain't got no jurisdiction.
I'm the one that got it poppin' when it all rotted. Even when the love departed, I stay pure-hearted. I was the one that stayed solid when it all started. When I'm in the booth spittin', I can hear Saint talking. I hear my higher self telling me to say my grace. But I look into their soul when we face to face. I see the hate in their eyes, they wanna switch my place. My two eyes so blinded, so I walk in faith. Instead of choosing love, while my people rather hate. I come from the mud, where it all can escalate. Even low to the ground, I can elevate. My pockets gaining pounds, now I'm a real heavyweight.
Just beat another case, no longer do I chase things that can be replaced. Now they all acting fake. Of their own medicine, I let them all get a taste.
But the real lesson is learn from my own mistakes. See, my purpose is upliftment for a fallen race. My lifestyle different, now I can talk to Chase. God must be forgiven how I won this race. Started in the last place, now it's a fast break. See, I'm feeling like Kobe, something changes my trophy. Same ones that hate me be the same ones that know me. Now I believe what I see, you just gotta show me. Talk to my lower self and said you can't control me.
It's live. If the feds are listening, let them know they ain't got no jurisdiction. Islamism.
Secret investigations, mass incarceration, COINTEL operations, this for the nation. Got new information, dismissing all your cases, no matter what you facing, this for the nation. Going back to the basics, real street motivation, real more stay patient, this for the nation. Feds on like a Mason, but nah, I ain't no Mason. Nationality proclamation, this for the nation. Yeah, Asiatic, not Asian. I remember the relation. I ain't never ducking off the cation. Remove the case location. Don't say nothing at the station. Don't volunteer information. Got stripes like a Dalmatian. It's no amalgamation with the European pale nation. I ain't doing no clout chasing, but I'm still pushing this piece. Overcoming my lower self every day. I'm crushing this beast. I was really raised over east, standing on my square while my body facing the east. You couldn't walk in my sneaks. Try to follow my footprints. Drew Ali got the blueprint. Divine movement. I don't care what your 2 cents. What I had to do to pay rent. Post it up on the pavement.
Post it up on the pavement.
Secret investigations, mass incarceration, COINTEL operations, this for the nation. Got new information, dismissing all your cases, no matter what you facing, this for the nation. Going back to the basics, real street motivation, real more stay patient, this for the nation. Feds on like a Mason, but nah, I ain't no Mason. Nationality proclamation, this for the nation.
If the feds are listening, let them know they ain't got no jurisdiction.
If the feds listening, let them know they ain't got no jurisdiction. Islamism. Let's go. Islam. Islam. Islam.
God can't judge me, and ain't no man I'm fearing. These cases getting dismissed, so it ain't no interference. They know I'm a siren every time I'm appearing. They know I'm a problem to the whole legal system. I made a special appearance. They ain't never seen nothing like me. I got a passport clearance. My status got corrected, not every case disappearing. I challenge subject matter when I came to the hearing. I'm case dismissing. Fell law for a quick second, now I'm back on my mission, enforcing Constitution. Now all these cops opposition, I'm playing my position. I'ma live in legend, I just hope my son can listen. There's no competition, I got Larry vision to protect our community, regain our sovereignty, but it's gonna take some unity. Free the political prisoners, grant all of them immunity. They locked all of the real leaders who stood up and influenced me. They had plans to ruin me, but I overcame that. I done reincarnated back from my ancestors who came back. This slavery and this oppression, no more stress, and I changed that. I'm bringing back that Larry love, and I'm starting off with a gangs that only God can judge me, and ain't no man I'm fearing. These cases getting dismissed, so it ain't no interference. They know I'm a sovereign every time I'm appearing. They know I'm a problem to the whole legal system. Only God can judge me, and ain't no man I'm fearing. These cases getting dismissed, so it ain't no interference. They know I'm a sovereign every time I'm appearing. They know I'm a problem to the whole legal system. I'ma enforce the Constitution, I'ma get the case dismissed, I'ma write the prosecutor, I'ma get the Brady list, I'ma gon' fire my lawyer, I'ma gon' take that risk, cause I know he ain't really working, he just tryna get rich. I don't really trust no lawyer, I don't really trust no judge. Then I step in the courtroom, I don't really feel no love. They the ones that brought it in, then they charge me for the drugs. They the ones bringing it across the border, they the real plugs. I can't really trust the government, cause they all corrupted. They breaking all the laws and terrorize the public. The colonizers love it, the prison is a budget. It's time to expose them all, officials getting busted. We filing lawsuits, police is getting indicted, and every false charge that we get, we gonna fight it. They violating the Constitution every time they write it. A warrantless arrest in case law has been cited.
Islamism, if the feds listen, let them know they ain't got no jurisdiction. Enforce the Constitution. The Holy Prophet said, stand on your birthrights. Islam.
I'ma enforce the Constitution, I'ma get the case dismissed, I'ma write the prosecutor, I'ma get the Brady list, I'ma gon' fire my lawyer, I'ma gon' take that risk, cause I know he ain't really working, he just tryna get rich. I don't really trust no lawyer, I don't really trust no judge. Then I step in the courtroom, I don't really feel no love. They the ones that brought it in, then they charge me for the drugs. They the ones bringing it across the border, they the real plugs. Let them know they ain't got no jurisdiction. Islamism.
The feds listening, let them know they ain't got no jurisdiction. Islamism. Hey, Islam. Islam. Allah, Allah, all praise to Allah.
I'm counting all my blessings, Allah's my protection. Donald Trump in office, but I ain't vote for that election. Study self of perfection, Quran is my weapon. I leave my footprints, now they know how I'm stepping. Challenge jurisdiction, tell them challenge jurisdiction. Post-trial motions, tell them challenge that conviction. Special appearance, pay the court a special visit. Warrantless arrest, you got a motion to dismiss it. The Constitution missing, it's time to bring it back. That habeas corpus, that can bring your homie back. That Dred Scott case proves that slavery is black, and victimless crimes come from artificial facts. Without you,
Islam, Islam, Islam. Peace and love. Happy holy day. Peace and love. Happy holy day. Drop a one in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a one in the chat if you can hear me. Peace and much love. Peace and much love. Happy holy day. On this Freedom Friday, Islamism is the wisdom. Peace and love. Happy holy day. Peace and love, Muslims. Holla if you can hear me. Drop a one in the chat if you can hear me clear out there. Islam. Peace and much love to the Muslims. Happy holy day. It's Freedom Friday. All praises due to Allah. All honors to Noble Drew Ali. All honors to Marcus Garvey. All honors to the all red flag with the 5-pointed green star. I'll do that. Islam, Islam, Islam. Happy holy day, Muslims. I can't see my chat right now, but if y'all putting something in the chat, let me know. If y'all putting something in that chat, let me know. Peace and love. Happy holy day. Let me see, make sure my volume is right. Everybody can hear me. Everybody can hear me. Let me see. Yeah, they can hear me out there. It look like y'all might can hear me. We got a lot of topics to talk about. We got a lot of things that get in order. The time is now, times is changing. I'm seeing the signs and symbols and the prophecies being fulfilled from the prophet Noble Drew Ali. The prophecies are being fulfilled from the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And only those with eyes to see and ears to hear can understand what I'm saying. Islam, let's talk about it, Greg Sheet. Come on, man. It's Freedom Friday on Holy Day. It's time for some freedom. I want to talk about Prophet Noble Drew Ali, prophecy's been fulfilled. I also want to talk about what we need to do as a group of people. I want to talk about the problems that we're facing, the financial slavery, the mental slavery that we in, that most people don't know we in. They know we struggling, but they don't know why we struggling. They know we going through things of injustice, but they don't know why we going through injustice. They don't know what's the root of their problem, but they know they got problems. And I'm here to bring a divine message from Noble Drew Ali that gave us a solution to our problems and what we call in 2025 status correction. But status correction happens in the mind first. And a lot of y'all problem is y'all ain't got the right state of mind to organize a government and put this together and get some salvation and some sovereignty. Because we too busy arguing over whether they free Larry Hoover or did they free Jeff Ford. We still divided. We still divided about, oh, this person thinks he this and that. We worry about the wrong things. And the key to our salvation is the unity. And all the great masterminds all agree that unity is the key. You understand me? Let's talk about it, Grand Sheik. Islam, happy home. Drop a one in that chat if y'all here with me. Drop a one in that chat if y'all rocking with me, because Grand Sheik finna go in today. I want to talk about some prophecies from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Can I talk about it? The prophet said, I brought you everything it takes to save a nation. Take it and save yourself. The Holy Prophet told the Moors children, you are at home, and the Europeans is 5,000 miles from home. He's going to have to take some water. What does that mean, Grand Sheik? The prophet said he brought us everything it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourself. And then he talk around and say, well, you at home and the Europeans 5,000 miles from home. He's going to have to take some water. So these are the prophecies being fulfilled. The Europeans is who you call Americans. And the Europeans is 5,000 miles from Europe, which is his mother country. And you don't understand what that means because you haven't been taught nationality. You don't have the right state of mind. You don't know that you're not a U.S. citizen, and a U.S. citizen was only made as an artificial nationality for those who didn't have a nationality. And things have to be restored back to its original place that it was in. So if these Europeans come from Europe, they got to go back to Europe. Because they operating in North America and they colonizing the world from our country. And they have colonized us and they continue to colonize us. Let's read some more of these prophecies. Because these prophecies are being fulfilled. The prophet said one day, number 13, one day every wheel of the industry is going to stop. And when it starts up again, it will be in an Asiatic's favor. Most of y'all don't know who the Asiatics is. You don't know that you come from Asiatic descent. We are Asiatic race of people. Meaning we the original people. And the original people are not benefiting from the industry. We're not benefiting from what we call the market. We on a losing stick. We the consumers and not the merchants. Islam. So what we have to understand is that the market is going to crash. It's on its way out. And when it starts back up, it's going to be in favor of us. So it's most important to be educated on the market. Not just knowing how to trade, but understanding the whole market to take advantage of the market. So you can be a merchant and so you can be a trader and invest in the market. We can invest in each other. We can start our own market as Marcus Garvey did. We have to think outside the box. Now they just commuted Larry Hoover. Let's talk about it, Grand Sheik. I want to read a speech from Larry Hoover. If I could do that, let me see if I can pull it up. Oh God. Okay, there it go. Hold on. Let me screen share this speech from Larry Hoover. To let you know what type of time I'm on when I say free Larry Hoover, because most people think I'm trying to gang bang. Grand Sheik is not trying to gang bang. Larry Hoover was about unity amongst the people. Now, most of y'all don't know the political works of Larry Hoover. Most of y'all never heard of Wallace Gator Bradley. You never heard of Century 21 Vote. This is the article from Century 21 Vote that Larry Hoover had to be published. And I'm going to read this. Larry Hoover said this: peace amongst the rank and file of all organizations. Gangster, disciples, black disciples, vice lords, Latin kings, stones, El Rookins, Spanish gangster disciples, Spanish cobras, and other fractions is necessary. Our communities are being corroded with elements of destruction. Black on black crime has risen to unmeasurable heights. Our criminal activities have risen to an outrageous level of degradation. We've invited the widespread visibility of the men in blue to police us because of our actions. Our parents, relatives, and other people fear us. They fear us going into their homes to steal and rob them of their valuables. They're going to the store for groceries or currency exchanges to cash their checks. Then we have shootings in the playground areas where little children play in school grounds where they are trying to learn. Thus, parents fear sending their kids to school. These actions of robbery, shootings, and rape must end for us to cease the unjustified actions of the police. We can end their visibility of unnecessary harassment upon our community and stop them justifying their own criminal activities of searches upon the homes and personal property of our parents and other relatives. If we, in our own radical actions, because of what we do, the police react upon innocent people of the CHA units like they are in South Africa, with searches and disrespecting their constitutional rights. If we unite upon this call for peace, we can end them justifying their unlawful treatment. Look at the behavior of the organizations behind the walls of Stateville, Pontiac, Menard, and many other correctional institutions throughout the state. We get along together, play ball together, sleep in the same cells together, laugh, cry, and suffer together. Likewise, in the outside world, we should be able to live together and communicate together about any problem that we might defer upon to find peaceful solutions. Hold on, let me scroll down a little bit. The Honorable Mr. Larry Hoover said this: the time is now for a total refocusing of our efforts away from non-productive distractions and other elements of temptations, and focus towards those disciples that will make us real men in our communities. We must stop the gang banging and drive-bys. Our race is being destroyed by the killings of our own youth. We must stop hating one another because of the color jacket or hat that is worn, or the way a person wears his hat. These actions only feed the fire to destruction. And finally, in my sincere appeal for peace and unity, those of us that have experience being our brother's keeper, we must educate our members around us. Education brings about awareness. Awareness generates the ability to think. Our youth must know the end result of crime is shame, disgrace, and imprisonment to themselves, as well as the community. We must come to the point of outlawing those who willfully disrupt our communities and our call for peace and unity. Crime must not be accepted as the normal way of doing things. For we are all together riding on the same boat, passengers at the same moment on the river of destruction. If we don't take heed to these few words, we are going to drown together in the sea of destruction. Through peace and unity, we can live. Now, this is a noble plea from the Honorable Mr. Larry Hoover. This is the Century 21 vote, United in Peace, the call for peace, a personal appeal from Larry Hoover, reaching from inside out. And then you see the logo for it, the Century 21 vote, with all the nations' logos united under the. And I'm coming, see what I'm gonna do, I'm putting a book together to illustrate how all the gangs in Chicago derive from the Moorish signs and the symbolism of each sign and what it means. See, one of the signs was the circle 7. The black stones, the black people stones, and the El Rookins used the circle 7. It was gangs that used the pyramid. It was gangs that used the 6-pointed star, the 5-pointed star, the pitchforks. All these things have symbolism. The snakes, the cobras, all these things have metaphysical meanings. You know what I'm saying? That has to be revealed to the people. Most of these organizations, like the Black Disciples, was actually considered religious organizations. They leaders was titled ministers. The same with the vice lords. They leaders was titled ministers. So this has to be revealed. The knowledge that some of these brothers contain can be used to organize ourselves and put, because it's all about the discipline. And people don't understand the influence that Larry Hoover has on the music industry. Because I seen somebody post earlier say, well, Larry Hoover ain't gonna be able to influence the youth. He already has. He already has a strong influence on the youth, actually. And through the help of Jay Prince, and through the help of Drake and Kanye, Lil Durk, Ruger, all these rappers that idolize Larry Hoover, he a baby very to influence. Now, would he influence everybody? No, everybody can't be influenced by one person, but at the end of the day, it can start up a change. And see, it's a calling to stop looking at one man as the savior. Larry Hoover is not the savior. We as men, it's a call for us to step up and sisters to step up. The women have to educate these children, and men, we have to step up and educate these ladies, and educate ourselves and the children. Everything got to be put back in order. It's a lot of things that's out of order that has to be placed in order. And we are misguided by our own distractions. The solution is nationality. The solution is government of our own and controlling our own affairs. That's what's the main point of what Larry Hoover was trying to illustrate, is that since our own conduct, our own radical ways, since we have our own radical ways, now the police can harass us, they can mistreat us because we are not governing ourselves. Okay? I'm gonna read a speech by the brother Malcolm X that was written in 1963, which is called Racial Separation. This is out of my book that you can purchase on consciouscollege.com.org. consciouscollege.org. Our self-law. Okay, you can get this book right now. Still 5 left in stock. Get them now. They're going like hotcakes. It has 1,053 case laws. It's 463 pages, and it talks about nationality, citizenship, court procedures, stages of court, and it has 1,000 case laws on every type of subject that you're going to deal with when asserting your rights and enforcing the Constitution, like the Prophet Noble Drew Ali instructed us to do. Praise Allah, Islam. Now let's talk about Malcolm X's speech he made called racial separation. The brother Malcolm X had this to say. Let me zoom in a little bit. He said, racial separation. Our people in the Negro community are trapped in a vicious cycle of ignorance, poverty, disease, sickness, and death. There seems to be no way out, no way of escape. The wealthy, educated black burgundies, these uppities, Negroes who do escape, never reach back and pull the rest of our people out with them. The black masses remain trapped in the slums. And because there seems to be no hope or no other escape, we turn to wine, we turn to whiskey, we turn to reefers, marijuana, and even to the dreadful needle, heroin, morphine, cocaine, opium, seeking an escape. See, that's why the young boys now they doing all them pills, because that's all it is. It's the same thing. They just ain't got to use the needle to do it. See, y'all don't understand how the game been played. They trying to seek to escape because there's so much destruction and hopelessness going on. Let me finish talk about it. Many of us turn to crime, stealing, gambling, prostitution. And some of us are used by the white overlords downtown to push dope in the Negro community among our own people. Unemployment and poverty have forced many of our people into a life of crime. But the real criminal is in the city hall downtown, in the State House, and in the White House in Washington, D.C. The real criminal is the white liberal, the political hypocrite, and it's these legal crooks who pose as our friends, force us into a life of crime, and then use us to spread the white man's evil vices in our community among our people. That was wrote in 1963 by the brother Malcolm X. Islam, that's in my book, Our Self-Law, titled Racial Separation. Now I want to read something from the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, the divine warning by the Prophet. The Prophet said that the citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and to cling to the names and the principles that allude to slavery. You who doubt, and I'm paraphrasing in this book, so I kind of paraphrased it because the speech is much longer. But the prophet said this: you who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law in the city hall and among the officials in your government, and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply. For they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into the light. I love my people and I desire their unity and mind back to their own national and divine standard. Because day by day, they have been violating the national constitutional laws of their government by by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. In all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, is imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by naming principles, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issue and names formed by their forefathers. So the prophet was breaking down the fact that we had a salvation and a solution, and it was only one solution, and it was under your national descent name. Because you are to claim your descendants and your ancestors, and you have to proclaim that to the government of the United States of America to free yourself from under the Christian black codes that was enforced on the Moors in 1724. This is the reason why the Moors' nationality was taken away. Islam, I'm going to continue reading. This is what the prophets say. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners, who were at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was enforced since 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of our people and citizens. That's a divine warning from the prophet Noble Drew Ali. The prophet gave us the remedy, the problem, and the solution in one speech. The divine warning, he warned us from a divine mindset that this problem we having with the United States government and the pale-skinned nations of Europe is within ourselves. Just like the brother Honorable Larry Hoover was breaking down, because of our own radical actions, we have allowed the Europeans to govern us. And that's because we are not in honor of our ancestors by forming our own governments and being citizens of our own government. So Noble Drew Ali came to correct that problem, and that's what we're dealing with right now. Now, it's 4 levels of citizenship. Now, let's get into the law part. Let's get into the actual remedy of this now. Islam, now it's 4 levels of citizenship when we talking about the United States. Most people don't even know thyself. They don't know that you didn't, first of all, you didn't come from Africa. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali even said that. He never said we came from Africa. The Prophet said this. Let me break that down before we go to the 4 levels so we can understand who we are. Okay? Let's break this down right fast. I'm finna bring up the hold on. The Prophet said, watch the newspapers and listen to the radio. I'm going to make the European tell you the truth. See, right now you need to be paying attention because all the lies they've been telling us, they're not going to be able to keep on telling us. They are actually going to have to reveal to us the truth. And once they reveal the truth, a lot of people have been told so many lies, they're not even ready for the truth. I'm about to part type it in. Okay, here it go right here. The Prophet said the Moors were living up and down the Mississippi River before the European man came here. And the Mississippi River is the Nile River, anciently known as the Nile. The Moors have been living here up and down the Mississippi River before the European came here. So you wasn't brought across the Atlantic Ocean. You was already living by the Mississippi River. When the European even got here, he discovered us. We don't come from Africa, they lied. Everybody has to be restored back to their nationality. Everybody got to go back to their mother country under their own fig tree. They got to go under their own national flag. Okay, it's 4 levels of citizenship in the United States. The U.S. Supreme Court stated that enslaved people were not citizens of the United States and therefore could not expect any protection from the federal government or the courts. Okay, the opinion also stated that Congress had no authority to ban slavery from federal territory. Slavery has never been banned. Congress does not have the power to ban slavery because slavery is contract. Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution says that no state can impair the obligation of a contract. That means that they cannot stop a contract. Only you can stop a contract. Even if you're in a contract of a fraud contract, it's on you to stop the contract. The government is not in here or doesn't have the power to step in to stop a contract that you enter. What contract did we enter, Grand Sheik? It's called citizenship. You agreed to be a status or a level or a type of citizen that you truly are not. You agreed to be a subject citizen, which is a corporation, which is the 14th Amendment citizen. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali said the 14th and 15th Amendments is not needed for the salvation of our people. The number 1 type of citizenship is the national citizens. The Moorish Americans. The highest rank of citizenship belongs to the nationals of the land, the Aboriginal and the indigenous people. We are the Aboriginal and indigenous people. We have a national status that you must proclaim your nationality. You align yourself to a nation and you're a national citizen, which is the highest level. Then under that, you got number 2, you got naturalized citizen, which are these Europeans who we call the United States government. Is really a naturalized government. It's not a national government or indigenous or aboriginal peoples involved in the government. That's why the Prophet said if the Europeans was just, then they would put an Asiatic as the president and have a European as the vice president, because the United States was supposed to unite both sides of the coin, the Europeans and the Asiatics. Okay, let's continue reading. foreign natural persons who have changed their domicile to a foreign jurisdiction under 8 USC subsection 1101 defines naturalization. The natural born citizen clause is in section 1, article 2 of the United States Constitution. The United States was made as a government to naturalize all the nations that was coming here so they can have a proper representation and platform, because we have so many people here in North America. We are a melting pot. So we formed the United States of America as the government to represent that culture of people. But we supposed to have our own national government on this land, which is the sovereign government, or what we call the home government. Noble Drew Ali came on the land with the flag to reestablish the national government. And that's what he did, and it's still standing. Number 3 says subject citizens. Now that's what they got Negro and black and colored people as corporations. Subjects have no human rights and are only entitled to corporate privileges. These are U.S. persons under Title 22, United States Code, subsection 6010. And we can look that up. Murray Bay, shout out to Murray Bay. What's up, Marlon? Murray Bay say, speak on the Grand Sheik. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because see, in 1929, Prophet Noble Drew Ali went down to Cuba and proclaimed the Moorish Science Temple of America as the national government and the national trust of the indigenous and aboriginal people to claim the inheritance that was lost and abandoned by the Europeans and claim and ceded to the states. They had ceded our land, and a land mandate had expired. So Noble Drew Ali claimed the land mandate, and he was given the land mandate, and then he turned around and published the land mandate in the Quran, which is chapter 47 of the Quran. The capital empire and dominion of Africa. Islam. And that's when the Prophet put the public claim in the Quran that we were descendants and true possessors of the Moroccan Empire. Let me read that briefly before we get into Title 22. The Prophet said, the capital, the Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa, chapter 47, the Prophet said that the Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permissions from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, they were the founders and the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire. So we the founders and the true possessors of the Moroccan Empire. Because there's other possessors of the Moroccan Empire that are not the true possessions. And that's the European pale-skinned nations. They are not the true possessors of the Moroccan Empire, which this flag behind me represent. The all-red flag with the 5-pointed green star does not represent the Kingdom of Morocco. It represents the Empire of Morocco. Now, Title 22, Foreign Relations and Intercourse, Chapter 69, Cuban Democracy, Section 6010 defines the United States person. A person is a corporation. It says it's used in this chapter, the term United States person means any citizen, United States citizen or alien admitted for permanent residence in the United States in any corporation, partnership, or other organization organized under the laws of the United States. That means that you under United States jurisdiction and have relinquished your citizenship. So you have no citizenship because that goes back to the levels of citizenship when we talk about being a corporation has no rights. You have no human rights. You waived your human rights. So as a subject citizen, subjects have no human rights and are only entitled to corporate privileges. A United States citizen is a business. You can look that up. Let's talk about it. The last level is a non-resident alien. That's a foreign non-citizen. Those who have no citizenship in America or visit foreign countries on temporary visa also includes immigrants. So the immigrants that come over here on a visa are just visiting a short period of time and going back to their country, but they're not obtaining citizenship, then that's what you would consider a non-resident alien. And that's the four types of citizenship when you're dealing with the United States. They have all these on the passport application. If you look at the passport application, it has U.S. national or you can file as a U.S. citizen. But most people don't know their options. So I'm here to bring you your options more. A lot of y'all just think y'all problems and people just racist against you, but you don't understand that they have actually taken your rights away from you and you have agreed to relinquish your rights. You gave it up. And that's what everybody trying to tell us is that by our own actions, we are allowing the European to govern us. And we got to stop that. We got to govern ourselves. We got to educate ourselves. So go to Conscious College, get the book, Our Self-Law, the handbook with this information so you can understand your 4 levels of citizenship. This book contains 432 pages, 1,053 case laws. Okay, it ends step-by-step procedures and a question and answer section to further educate you on what jurisdiction is and how to challenge jurisdiction, understanding jurisdiction, understanding, the works of your Moorish ancestors. I'm going to go to number 39. It says, how is a sovereign state defined in international law? Montevideo Convention and full Montevideo Convention on the Rights and Duties of States agreement signed at Montevideo, Uruguay on December 26, 1933 and entering into force the following year that established the standard definition of a state under international law. So in 1933, most people know as the Great Depression, but it was not the Great Depression. It was actually the close of the market and the close of the banks for 7 days and reopen under the new currency called the United States dollar bill, the Federal Reserve note. And they issued at that time the Social Security numbers and driver's license to contract the Moors and to being corporate citizens, like I just showed you, the 4 levels of citizenship. All this happened in 1933. But on a national, that's just North America, United States, where that happened. But in Montevideo, out the country, you know what I'm saying, they was having an international convention on this. After all that happened in early 1933, at the end of 1933, they had a convention on the standard of the definition of the state, because United States is not by standard a state. You know what I'm saying? United States is actually is a federal corporation, and we have the power under international law to form our own sovereign government. This was 4 years after Prophet already established us as a sovereign government in 1929. He established that with our first parade. I'm going to continue reading. Adopted by the Seventh International Conference of American States. A lot of y'all don't know what the International Conference of American States is. See, the American states is the 50 states that we really call, United States of America is the 50 states like Cuba, Colombia, Chile, Brazil, Argentina, Dominica Republic, El Salvador, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua, Panama. All these places are what you call the United States, the real United States. Okay, then you got the United States of America, which is the federal corporation. Those are two different entities. Let me continue reading. It says, adopted by the Seventh International Conference on American States. So this was made in Montevideo, Uruguay, but the International Conference on American States also adopted this. So most people don't know what that means. See, one set of group of people you got in Europe is called the United Nations. At that time, it wasn't United Nations yet, but that's what they call them now, United Nations. Then you have the American states who have their own organization called the Organization of American States. And they have the same kind of unity and alliance as the United Nations. We supposed to be operating under the Organization of American States. Most people are trying to get recognition from the United Nations. I'm talking to you government leaders of the Moorish governments right now that's trying to get recognition under United Nations. You don't need no recognition, United Nations. They Europe anyway. They already recognize you when you proclaim your nationality as a Moorish American. So Noble Drew Ali didn't go to the United Nations. They wasn't even formed yet. He went to the American states. And like I said, that's Cuba. He went down to Cuba, 1929, and they had the conference. And that was the proper steps to take, because you have to make an alliance within your country. It's like Africa, they don't go to China to be recognized. Africa don't go to African government wouldn't go to Europe to be recognized. He wouldn't come to America to be recognized. He'd go within the governments of his own continent and let them know his proclaiming his stance. So out of this Montevideo Convention, they made the standard, they established the standard definition of a state, which is the Moorish Science Temple of America. We are a state. So when they say, what state are you from? You from the Moorish Science Temple of America. What state are you a member, a citizen of? The Moorish Science Temple of America. Let me continue reading. It says, the convention stipulated that all states were equal sovereign units consisting of a permanent population, defined territorial boundaries, a government, and ability to enter into agreements with other states. So those were the four requirements that were stipulated at the convention, that any state was an equal sovereign if they consisted of a permanent population, a defined territory boundaries, they actually had a government, and the ability to enter into agreements with other states. If they had those four items, they was considered equally sovereign to any other state. So that means if we form all four of these things, we can be equally sovereign to the United States or any other state that's on North America, Central America, or South America. It says that they, wait, pardon, so I went down too far. It says, among the convention's provisions were the signatories were that signatories would not intervene in the domestic or foreign affairs of another state, that they would not recognize territorial gains made by force, and that all disputes should be settled peacefully. The agreement was signed by the United States, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, Uruguay, and Venezuela. And pardon my pronunciation. Okay, so this agreement was signed that when we form our government, the United States couldn't interfere with us, our affairs. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody can interfere with the affairs of another state. And it's also said that they agreed that they would not recognize territory gains made by force. So the colonizers have gained our territory called territorial jurisdiction by force. And that's what I'm getting into next. In my book, Our Self-Law, I talk about jurisdiction and territorial, what it means to have territorial jurisdiction. Let's talk about it, Grand Sheet. You know I love some jurisdiction. Islam 18 said, what is territorial jurisdiction? Territorial jurisdiction, United States law, refers to a court's power over events and persons within the bounds of a particular geographic territory. If a court does not have territorial jurisdiction over the events or persons within it, then the court cannot bind the defendant to an obligation or adjudicate any rights involving them. So the way they get territorial jurisdiction is that they got you believing that North America is United States when those are two different places. Okay, under the Constitution, United States only got jurisdiction within the District of Columbia or the 10 by 10 square miles that they made. Because the District of Columbia is the true United States, which is not a state, it's not divine in international law, it's a state at all. That's why they call it the district, because it's not a sovereign state. Now, when we go to Our Self-Law, the book, number 40 said, what does state mean? State is not, first of all, we looked at territory. A state is not the territory. A state means a people organized as a government. This word is used in various senses. In its most enlarged sense, it signifies a self-sufficient body of persons united in one community for the defense of their rights and to do right and justice to foreigners. In this sense, the state means the whole people united into one body politic. And the state and the people of the state are equivalent expressions. So a state is not the landmass. So when you say I live in the state of Kentucky, state of Arkansas, state of Texas, state of Louisiana, you are talking about a government that has jurisdiction over you. And when you say that you live in a state, you have given them jurisdiction over you. Because you don't know, a state is just a people organized as a government. It's not the landmass. You know what I'm saying? So North America consists of different governments that we call states or countries. A country and a state is the same thing, it's equivalent expressions, or body politic, equivalent expression. And most people are turned off from being, a part of a state or a part of a government because they don't understand it. A real state or a real government is formed for the defense of your rights. Governments are here to protect you. Now, number 41 says that what is a government? The form or system of rule by which a nation, state, community, etc. is governed by a governing body of persons. So the problem with us is that we are allowing the European to govern our affairs. Donald Trump is commuting Larry Hoover because Larry Hoover has a message for us to govern our own neighborhoods. We have to govern ourselves. By us not governing ourselves under our self-law and master, we have allowed foreigners to come in and govern us. Now, what the problem is that those foreigners have hit a brick wall with other foreigners. And you see what I'm saying? They with other foreigners, and what's happening is this. When the United States have to relinquish their power, just like the prophet said when the prophecy is being fulfilled, that the Europeans are going back to Europe 5,000 miles away from home, they got to take some water with them. It's not going to mean that other foreigners are not going to come in and govern over people who cannot govern over themselves. The Chinese, the Asians, these other governments are going to come here. They are already here. The Asians have already formed their own police stations here in North America. So if we don't have organization and unity to govern ourselves, then we are allowing other people to govern because there's only power in unity. What you mean, Grand Sheik? If we got people that say like it's a dispute in your community and you can't settle it, then they can bring in 100, 200, 1,000 people to settle a dispute. So if we don't got 1,000 people that can come together to settle a dispute, we don't have no power. We can't govern ourselves. So, you know what I'm saying? It's strength in numbers. It's strength in numbers. Larry Hoover has the power to bring unity in numbers. So Donald Trump is allowing him to be released so he can influence the unity of the people. Because the biggest influence on our culture as people is the gangs and the music. Larry Hoover is deep in both of those arenas. The brother Jay Prince has major artists under his label that he can influence. He put together a concert. See, what they showed you is that Jay Prince put together a concert of two rappers who didn't even like each other. That's how much power Jay Prince had. Drake and Kanye was getting into it over Kanye's wife. Kanye felt like Drake was sleeping with his wife. Now, whether it's just entertainment or not, they showed us the power that entertainment can use and come into unity. So you got to understand what's really going on. We got to crack the code. See, I'm going to have to drop this podcast. I'm going to drop one of my brothers called Cracking the Code. And we going to start cracking the codes in the entertainment business. I know Grand Sheik talk a lot about the politics and the laws. That message needed also. That's every Holy Friday. We're going to be coming Freedom Fridays with this. But what I'm saying is also we need to teach people how to see the symbolism in the movies and the music. Because it's symbolism in the music and the movies. And unless you got eyes to see and ears to hear, you it's going right over your head. It's a lot of people that know the truth and it's trying to tell you the truth, but by you being so mentally enslaved with the lies, when the truth comes, you think that's a lie. But that's really the truth. And you have to have discernment to know the truth from falsehood. Because there's only two things in this world according to the Circle 7 Quran. and that's truth and falsehood. Let's talk about I said that was a government already. Let's go back into my book. This is the book I Self Law. You can get this on Conscious College. If you got the ebook, you have exclusive because I'm not selling ebooks right now. We selling physical books. If you have the ebook, that's consider yourself having an exclusive copy because nobody else has that except you. If you got the I Self Law and the first week, that was the only time where you can get the actual ebook. Okay, so that's an exclusive copy. But now you can get the physical book, and I signed the physical book with my signature on the physical book, okay? And we only got 5 copies. These are limited editions. I will reproduce more if you can't get these. Don't worry about it. But right now, these are limited editions. Okay, let's look into the United Nations declarations on indigenous people. United Nations said that on the rights of indigenous people, Article 2, indigenous individuals and peoples are free and equal to all other individuals and peoples in dignity and rights, and have the right to be free from any kind of adverse discrimination, in particular that based on their indigenous origin or identity. So United Nations said in Article 2 that we have a freedom to be not discriminated upon by us being indigenous and identifying as indigenous. Okay, so you got to understand that being indigenous on this land gives you birthright. And a European doesn't have that birthright. Nobody else have that birthright except those who claim to be Negro, Black, and colored, or Ethiopian. We have the divine birthright of sovereignty in North America, South America, and Central America. And we have the right to identify our indigenous status. And if they stop us from doing that, that's considered discrimination. Now, Article 8 says that indigenous people have the collective and individual right to maintain and develop their distinct identities and characteristics, including the right to identify themselves as indigenous and to be recognized as such. So we have an individual right, meaning you can do this by yourself, and we have a collective right, meaning we can do it together to identify as indigenous. And we have the right to be recognized as indigenous. And like I said, indigenous refers to us having the birthright to North, South, and Central America and giving us sovereign immunity on the land from certain laws that's infringing on our rights. Our constitutional security rights are being infringed upon, and we have sovereign immunity by being indigenous to not be violated those constitutional security rights. But we are still being violated those rights. Every time we get pulled over without a warrant, every time we go to jail for warrantless crimes and victimless arrests, you know what I'm saying? People in jail for drugs and guns and haven't hurt nobody. You know what I'm saying? My people just coming home. You know what I'm saying? My people just coming home. Free the guys. Welcome home, man. Welcome home, Larry Hoover, because these people are political prisoners. They really been in prison because they indigenous and they soldiers. And the Europeans do not want our soldiers, our men, our strongest men are in a penitentiary. You see what I'm saying? They don't want them to lead the neighborhoods and have us in unity, because it's called genocide. It's a plan to destroy a nation. And how can you destroy a nation? You take the strongest men, you make examples out of them This is all in the Willie Lynch letter. They try to break us like they did horses. Okay, Article 15. Let's read Article 15, United Nations General Assembly. December 10th, 1948, resolution number 217 said, everyone has a right to a nationality. No one should be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality, nor the right to change his nationality. So that means that everybody on this earth has a nationality, and you have a right to your nationality. A lot of y'all fake woke people, I ain't gonna say fake woke, I'll take that back. A lot of y'all, because I don't want nobody to feel no type of way, you know what I'm saying? Because that's not my intentions. But a lot of y'all, y'all don't want to claim a nationality because you want to be free from all identities, but you don't understand that having nationality brings you back to your human rights. All humans have a nationality. God created nationalities. We didn't create no nationalities. We just named our nationality. Our nationality was named by our ancestors. So you must do a status correction, because that birth certificate being authenticated, that's not a status correction. You just authenticated a fraud. Status correction is the proclamation of nationality. It's not saying I own a security. It's not saying I have trust property. It's saying that I have an estate, that I must proclaim my inheritance through the name of the descended ancestors, with the name that they started the first government and nations on this land. What did they name that? And they named that the Canaanite and Moabite nations. That was the Canaanite and Moabite nations, presently known as the Moroccan Empire. So if you're not a part of the Moroccan Moorish Empire as a Moorish American, and you Negro, black, and colored, you have waived your rights. Now, if you Italian, Greek, Russian, whatever, European, you got to proclaim your nationality as well. Everybody has to proclaim a nationality. Everybody has a right to a nationality. This is not the 1700s when the Europeans have to declare their independence any longer. They're not being oppressed in Europe any longer under Great Britain and the King of Great Britain. Right now, it's the time to proclaim your nationality and restore the republic. What ones don't understand, it's been a worldwide coup d'etat, the overthrow of the republic around the world. They overthrew the republic in France. They overthrew the republic in the United States. They overthrew the Republic of Rome. So the Rome Republic has to be reestablished. Let's talk about it. United Nations General Assembly, 1959 Declaration on the Rights of the Child, Principle 3 says, every child shall be entitled from his birth to a name and a nationality. Why would they say that? Because identity is the first thing that's most important. If your child does not have a nationality, then they can take your child away from you. They can say they have ownership over your child. That's why a lot of times when we go get marriage licenses from the courts, they can tell you what to do with your children. A lot of times when you register your children in school, they can send CPS and take your children because your children was given away to them. You have contracted your children birthrights. Your children had a birthright to a name and a nationality, and we've been depriving our children of that. That's why it's important for the sisters to get this information so you can teach your children. It's important for the brothers to get this information so we can teach the women and the children, and so we can lead this nation. It's that time, Muslims. Okay? If y'all got some questions, drop it in the chat. If y'all got questions, drop it in the chat. I'd love to hear from y'all. You feel me? Let's talk about it. We gonna uh we gonna play some Circle Seven Quran since we having the holy day Islam. We're gonna take a small break, play this Quran.
Books, actual, real, physical books.
Chapter 48: The End of Time and the Fulfilling of the Prophecies. The last prophet in these days is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared divinely in due time by Allah to redeem men from their sinful ways, and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus in those days, to warn and stir up the nation and prepare them to receive the divine creed which was to be taught by Jesus. In these modern days, there came a forerunner who was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name is Marcus Garvey, who did teach and warn the nations of the earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet, who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam, and his name is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth by Allah to teach the old-time religion and the everlasting gospel to the sons of men, that every nation shall and must worship under their own vine and fig tree, and return to their own and be one with their Father God Allah. The Moorish Science Temple of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization. Any subordinate temple that desires to receive a charter, the Prophet has them to issue to every state throughout the United States, etc., that the world may hear and know the truth, that among the descendants of Africa there is still much wisdom to be learned in these days for the redemption of the sons of men under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We, as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations, as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. The covenant of the great God Allah. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the earthland, which the Lord thy God, Allah, hath given thee. Come all ye Asiatic of America, and hear the truth about your nationality and birthrights. Because you are not Negroes, learn of your forefathers' ancient and divine creed, that you will learn to love instead of hate. We are trying to uplift fallen humanity. Come and link yourselves with the families of nations. We honor all true and divine prophets.
5 signs your
Islam, Islam, Islam. We got one question from YouTube. The brother said, "How can I correct my name?" Now that's a good question that the brother asked, because a lot of y'all trying to change the name instead of correct the name. What's the difference, Grand Sheik? A name change is when you go down to the court and you tell the judge, "I want to put a petition in for a legal name change. And what they do is create an alias that's attached to your old name, but now you identifying as a new name. You have to sometime fingerprint, put a request in the newspaper, and spend hundreds of dollars just doing this process. And you waiving your rights by doing this process. Now, the remedy of what you want to be doing is, I don't know why they want to wait, but what you want to be doing is proclaiming your nationality. So that's correcting your national status. Hold on, let me see what's going on. Your national status has to be corrected. So what that looks like is that they got you listed as a U.S. citizen, you don't have a nationality. So you have to come to the Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple 84 and proclaim your nationality. So you hit me up in the inbox, I'll give you all the necessary information, or you can text the number 210-239-3224. That's 210-239-3224. And hold on, is that the number? Shit, hold on, I might give y'all the wrong number. I be forgetting my number sometimes. I said 3224, it's 3229. It's 3229. Yeah, it's 210-239-3229. And don't text it, don't call. I see y'all call, don't call. Y'all hitting it up already. Don't call me. Text the number. Okay? Because you have to proclaim your nationality with a nation. To have allegiance to a nation, alliance to a nation. If you look up the definition of nationality, it means to have alliance to a nation. Once you have alliance to a nation, you changing your citizenship, correcting your citizenship from being a U.S. citizen and to a Moorish American national. Okay, let's read about this in my book. Number 100 says, in the light of the 14th Amendment, how can a U.S. citizen be considered a corporation? It's followed by case law. It says the liberty guaranteed is that of a natural person, human being, and not of an artificial persons. Where it said a corporation cannot be deemed a citizen within the meaning of the clause of the Constitution of the United States, which protects the privileges and immunities of citizens of the United States against abridged or impaired by the law of the state. So you don't have no protection because you are an artificial person and not a natural person, because all human beings have nationalities. And this is not something you can bend the rules by. This is something that actually is law. Okay? And you can get a lot of this and more of this about nationality or case laws enforcing the Constitution in my latest book, just enrolled at Conscious College. Okay? So what we do, just to more elaborate on the process, we file our paperwork in the public and we enforce that. And what we filing is a public notice, affidavit of our birthright. There's no due process of law to proclaim your birthright. You have to make a public proclamation. And once you make this public proclamation with your proper allegiance to your government, then you have switched your citizenship from being a corporation to a national citizen, which is a human being. And you restore what we call your rights. Your birthrights are being restored. But you still have to enforce the Constitution. But you have the legal capacity to do so because now they can't hold you to the contracts that you have entered, like the driver's license, the birth certificate, and the state ID. If you look at my book, number 101 said, how does United States define the nationality card? And this is coming out the Department of Justice, CRM 1508, 18 USC 10, subsection 1028. It says section 1028 of Title 18 designates three special non-federal identification documents and gives them preferred treatment. These three documents, in the absence of a national identity card, are the prime means by which an individual establishes his identity in the United States. These three documents are A, the birth certificate, B, driver's license, and C, personal identification card. So by you not have a nationality, you don't have a nationality card. And so in the absence of a national identity card, they have established your identity by giving you something that's not identity, giving you three contracts. And this is why when you proclaim your nationality, you're not touching those contracts. You're doing all your new business in your new free national name and letting all your old business stay as it is. Meaning that you're going to control both the public and the private. Because the public is the birth certificate, driver's license, state ID. That's the public documents that turns you to a corporation. When we talk about the corporation, that's when we describe in the public. When we talk about the natural person with the national citizenship, human being, we talking about the private. And the private is another word for foreign. So you being a foreign national of the United States makes you a private American versus being a public American. They are public Americans, U.S. citizens. Once you proclaim nationality, you take that away. Also, with our paperwork is so dynamic in the Moorish Science Temple, number 84, that we actually convert over your estate from the public to the private when you do your nationality proclamation, because that's what the whole process is about, converting your estate and claiming your lost estate. I have classes on how to do this with your trust after you did your name correction as well, because that's the first step, is to claim your lost estate and convert over your rights over to the grantee with your nationality paperwork. And we do that with your nationality paperwork. Then from your nationality paperwork, you want to go to step 2, where we work on your trust. And your trust, you have to start to get your assets and put all your assets under your living trust to protect those. Okay, Grand Sheet, we're going to talk about it. We're going to come back in next Freedom Friday, talk about that nationality status correction piece that the people really need, because a lot of people don't understand the procedures. Y'all got paperwork right now just sitting around, not understanding that, all right? So it was good rocking with y'all. I appreciate everybody that stayed to this live, to the end of this live. Be looking for the class. If you don't have any classes for Conscious College, we have the classes available. Our Self-Law, the book, is now available. Signed copies. We have 5 of them left. Larry Hoover, if he come home, like I say, it's going to be very impactful. To say the least, I don't know what's to come of that. I'm not at one of those conspiracy theories who can tell you what's going to happen with another grown man. But what I can tell you is that brother's very impactful on the youth and on the elders. So what's going to come is going to come. But at the end of the day, we got work to do. What about you being your own chief, your own leader? You know what I'm saying? Especially as brothers, as men, we really got to step up and come together in unity as brothers. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, the messages from Noble Drew Ali, Larry Hoover, a lot of these brothers had the right idea on how to solve our problems, but unfortunately, that message has been, like colored or covered up by so much negative energy and negative, connotations about these people It's a lot of negativity about the Morris Science Temple. It's a lot of negativity about Larry Hoover. And you know what I'm saying? A lot of it may be true, but at the end of the day, it's messages and truth that these brothers was trying to get out. And they can't control what their members do. And everybody, you know what I'm saying, had a lower self. I'm not making any excuses, but what I'm trying to say is this. We are facing destruction, and all these things, Larry Hoover getting out of jail, these are signs of the destruction that's coming. And it's the European trying all he can to stop, because what the destruction is we're going to see war on our own land. They're going to bomb the United States. They don't care if you are, you know what I'm saying, with the European or not, because they don't know. When them bombs drop, they don't know who they land on. Just look at what's happening Palestine. Just look at what's happening, with Ukraine. It's innocent people being killed. So that's how it's called casualties of war. So you got to understand, it's going to be war in our land. So it's time to stop and get prepared. If you got children, let's get prepared, because times is changing quick. They finna replace all the jobs with AI robots. So you can't depend on these corporations. You're working for a dead corp. That's why it's called a corporation, because they got you working for dead entities. And you got to free yourself from living as the dead. Everything you do, you claim dead energy. And that's why they got you into slavery, because they able to harvest our energy, which is the currency, and put it inside this US dollar bill, which really is not lawful money. So the remedy, what the prophet gave us, is that we have to govern ourselves. We also have to have our own silver coins. You have to also put up a 90-day food supply. The prophet gave us the prophecies on how to do this. Okay? So with that being said, I'm going to check out Freedom Friday, Grand Sheik Conscious College. I appreciate everybody for coming through, comment. Seth Thomas, I see you. Joe Tay, Murray Bay, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that commented, shout out to y'all, man. For the energy, for the love. Share this, man, to your peoples. Let them know, man, the change is coming. Larry Hoover is an example of that. You know what I'm saying? Just signs and symbols are for the wise minds. So, share this with your peoples. Let them know. Enroll in the Conscious College. Get those courses, man. They only $40. You know what I'm saying? I'm not charging arm and leg, but it's a lot of wealth of knowledge that I put in there that y'all don't even really value. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't sell nothing I haven't done. I personally are doing all these things that I sell: jurisdiction or contract law, trust law, estate. I'm doing these things. Have I figured out all the answers? No. But if I successfully did something over and over, and I give you the instructions on how to do that, that formula was always going to work, because it's a formula, even if one or two steps might change along the way. When you have the foundation of knowing the truth, then you can start to enforce your birthrights. You can start to defend yourself from being oppressed by these people. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? So, Grand Sheik, I'm only one man. I have my faults, but at the end of the day, my intentions are pure. You know what I'm saying? My work here is for the uplifting of the fallen humanity. A fallen race is what we're dealing with. So, with all that being said, man, we're going to close out with the Moorish American prayer. If you want to say it with me, say it with me. And we're going to put a blessing on this lesson. You know what I'm saying? Happy Holy Day. It's the Friday. It's Freedom Friday. It's time to free yourselves from this political and mental slavery we under. You know what I'm saying? It's Allah's movement. He making things happen how it's supposed to happen. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali, his prophecies are being fulfilled. And we can see those things. Those who are really studying. You know what I'm saying? And man, I'm just looking forward to the future and all the beautiful things that we got coming. Be looking for every class that I'm dropping, Grand Chic. I'm gonna, you see, I'm live in court. I'm dropping videos with me actually in court. I'm actually gonna have a live stream of my next court case if I'm allowed to. So be looking out for the Conscious College dropping that heat. We ain't stopping. We going in. It's so much knowledge that we have to spread to the people. We're gonna be bringing in so much information. You know what I'm saying? Because we in 2025, we in the age of Aquarius. A lot of information is being accessible to us that wasn't accessible to the people back in the 50s and the 60s. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that. So we have to act on the information that we're getting. You can't look at the older generation and be mad at them because they didn't establish certain things. They didn't have the same information. They didn't have internet access. They didn't have AI, artificial intelligence. A lot of y'all got artificial intelligence and you still stupid. You still not making smart moves. You still don't understand how to research, find your own answers to things. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's inexcusable. And we have to hold ourselves accountable as a people. We have free will. You got, you know what I'm saying, these phones, smartphones in your hand. Learn how to educate yourself. In business, credit. I got credit classes. Learn how the credit consumer laws really work. You being oppressed. In the banks, everywhere you go, you being oppressed, man. So Freedom Fridays, man, we here to educate the people, talk about some freedom. Let's talk about it, Grand Chic Islam. So I'm going to close this out with the Moorish American prayer. Say it out loud to yourselves, Islam. Our Father, pardon self, Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali, Islam. I'm going to close us out on that note, Moors. I appreciate everybody for rocking. Share this video, like this video, comment, subscribe, enroll in the Conscious College today. While the limited offers are going up, prices will go up eventually. I put a lot of time, effort in each class. Each course comes with video templates. You know what I'm saying? 2 or 3 hours of me just breaking down that particular subject. Subjects have to be breaking down thoroughly. You know, I break this all the way down to the basics. You understand? Because I come from the trenches. So I'm just trying to share with y'all what I know. I appreciate everything that comes along with this journey. I have deep gratitude for all the things along my journey I learned, and I have high honors for you guys for sticking in there and believing and following the truth. Is not easy doing what we doing, and I'm hoping that I can inspire you. You feel me? At the end of the day, I got honors for everybody that's educating the people, no matter what you educating them on. Shout out to every teacher that's on the internet, that's doing it in private, wherever you doing it. You know, all the Grand Sheiks, Supreme Grand Sheiks, all the ones that just doing your thing and educating and trying to help this situation, because this is our problem. We got to fix it. If you're ignoring this problem, you are part of the problem. If you are doing nothing, then you actually a part of the problem. So with that, I'm going to close out. Peace and love. See y'all.